This is the Voice of the Land podcast with your hosts, Kevin Arnold and Nick Paulus.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome on in to another edition of the Voice of the Land podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Kevin Arnold. Alongside me, as always, my brother across the table, Nick Paulus. And, of course, our producer extraordinaire behind the proverbial glass, Peter Tellep. We are partnered with Web Streaming Studio by LPV and NEO Sports Network. And, of course, we have our new sponsor this season, DP Construction LLC. You guys can actually reach out to them. We said that there's going to be more information coming soon about them, and you can find them on Facebook now. You can like their Facebook page, DP Construction LLC. You can also reach out to them by phone at 330-217-4999. That's 330-217-4999, or reach out to Tyler LaFrada at tylerlafrada@gmail.com. That's TYLERLAFRATTA @gmail.com to get more information. And if you check out their Facebook page, let me tell you, they've just been getting going, and some of these projects that they have already done. And gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I mean, swimming pools, even just the driveways alone. Like, that's something so simple to have your driveway redone.
Oh, yeah.
But these driveways look amazing.
They're fantastic. And one of the driveways he did for one of his previous bosses, or I believe his current boss at his other job, it's a $1.3 million house. I mean, wow. And they did this driveway from, all the way up and around these bushes. They got pictures everywhere out there. You need to check it out. It is beautiful.
So DP Construction LLC on Facebook, and all of that contact information is listed on there as well. Some great photos of what they're doing already, just getting started. You know they're a local company, and the attention to detail is going to be in their work. You're going to see that Cleveland sports fan mentality, always being loyal, always doing everything we can to support our teams. These guys at DP Construction LLC are going to do everything they can to support you in your needs of what you need done around the house. So definitely check them out on Facebook. Of course, you guys can check us out on Facebook as well, at Voice of the Land, as well as on Twitter and Instagram at VTL_pod. Of course, you can find Paulus at CLE_Paulus on Twitter, myself at Kevin7, and you can find Peter Tellep along with LPV Productions and NEO Sports Network across all the social media platforms. And what I always get thrown off when I'm trying to post things on Instagram for us, when I'm trying to tag LPV. I think it's LPV, and it's Peter.Tellep. It's the only one where his name pulls up except for his Facebook page.
It's a little bit weird because I think that was the first one I did on Instagram. And so I think that was like the generic username it gave me. So I need to change that. So I've got like 4 Instagram accounts, so I keep up with none of them.
Well, it's like, so anytime I try to tag LPV, like I'm always like, I always start with the Facebook. So Instagram kind of goes last. We talked like halfway through season 3 about like our top social media things. And I always go to Instagram last somehow, some way. And so, like, I'm so used to starting with that L, the LP, and then thinking, it's going to come up.
It's going to pop right up. Yeah, there we go. Nope.
Luckily, we've done enough on Instagram now where it's just anytime I do a story and I tag you guys or do a post on there, it just automatically, like, the whole list comes up, and then it just starts, like, taking them off. So, like, you come up first, then it's Peter Tellep, then it's NEO Sports Network, then it's myself. So, like, if we're on the VTL page, it just makes it a whole lot easier because I'm a millennial that has no millennial capabilities at all.
It's the best kind of millennial right there.
Yes,
so.
Absolutely. And of course, you guys can always find the video content for this podcast on YouTube at Voice of the Land Podcast, or find us on all of your favorite podcast platforms. You know the big 3: Apple, Spotify, Google. Hit that subscribe button. YouTube, subscribe, like, turn on notifications, subscribe on Apple. Hit us with those 5 stars, however many stars you want. Hit us with some comments. Reach out to us. If you want to get on the conversation, hit us up on social media. All these social media sites, we'll talk back. We'll have these conversations. We'll debate, and because we just love to connect with people as well. So reach out. If you feel strongly about something we talk about, maybe disagree with us, or you agree and you want to get your take out there too, let us know, and we'll get into that. Of course, today, if you were following us on social media, you saw we were going to have the
albino rhino.
The albino rhino.
Yes.
Peyton Hillis, as well as his co-host of In the Backfield with Peyton Hillis and Keith Migra, his co-host Keith Migra. There, we were supposed to have them on. Had a rain check. Things come up. We all know. Life comes at you. So we're wishing them the best. We're going to have them on. They're definitely wanting to come on, and we're
very interested. Yeah, they definitely would want to come on.
Yeah, definitely want to come on, and we're just hoping for the best out to them, and just getting things taken care of, and we'll get them on. This is only season 4, episode 2, so we got plenty of time. We told you big things are coming. They're still on their way, and you get us today. It's still gonna be a big episode, and we're gonna start today with a team that we thought could have big goals or big aspirations in a shortened 60-game sprint in the Major League Baseball season in the Cleveland Indians. And we knew that their pitching was going to be great, and it has lived up to that. The only person I would say needs to step their game up a little bit on the mound, Mike Clevenger. But of course, we may not have had him at the we actually would not have had him at the beginning of the season because of his knee injury.
He wouldn't have been there until what, May or June.
Yeah. So, and trying to get ramped up. So a lot of these guys got their work in spring training before it closed down. He was hurt, so he kind of had to reset. So summer camp was like his spring training. For a lot of these other guys that were staying in shape, they were at, and it's not to make excuses or anything like that, but it's just kind of the point that they're at. And you see a guy like Shane Bieber go out there, and he is taking a strong hold on that ace position in this pitching staff. And then Clevenger pitches the day after him. So it's like you're trying to live up to that. Sure. I think Clev from the beginning of the season should have just focused on let me get a rhythm, and let me use my first couple starts to get a rhythm. He saw Shane Bieber go out there opening day, get 14 strikeouts. He's like, I want to go out there and get 15 strikeouts. So and trying to match it.
Damn, I got to follow that.
Right. But it's the competitive nature, and that's how good this pitching staff is. And even if they're giving up a couple runs, they're keeping the team in the ball game. The team isn't winning.
No.
Because as good as the pitching is, that is how bad the offense has been. Just, Paulus, I mean, your impressions of this team and just how frustrated are you watching these games? Because I can barely get through 9 innings right now watching the Cleveland Indians try to swing a bat.
As of right now, we have the best, hands down, best pitching in the major leagues.
Yep.
I mean, every night it's a quality start for these guys. Shane Bieber looks unhittable the entire season so far. And I mean, he's won all 3 of his starts.
Yep.
I mean, he has been on a fantastic streak so far. Let me just give you a couple of numbers, okay? As of right now, we've played 15 games.
These are going to hurt.
We are a quarter of the way through this 60-game schedule. So a quarter through the season, okay? We have 47 scored runs. Now, mind you, for the offense, we have 47 scored runs through 15 games. 13 of those came on Thursday night's game. The only night that we have broke out. That is 27% of the runs scored in one game.
Ooh.
21% of our runs scored came in one inning. That was the 7th inning when they scored 10 runs.
Yep.
21%. It is unbelievable how bad this offense has been. Mind you, like, once again, Thursday was like, like that finally, that day you can breathe. And you know what? Maybe these bats are waking up now. And then they go and get shut out by, the White Sox last night?
Yeah.
2-0. I mean, you are blatantly screwing over everyone here in Cleveland, this offense. And then you have the hitting coach who just, it's a pandemic. I understand you want to think about family first. I am all for that. But, dude, you can go. I'm totally fine with you leaving. At this point in time, anyone could be better coaching this team because these hitters just aren't hitting. I mean, there are just a couple of people that have been doing very well, and that is Jose, who looks like an all-star, caliber player right now, if they had an all-star game this year.
Right.
286, 4 home runs, and 11 RBI. Okay. Looks pretty good. Cesar Hernandez has been beautiful, right now. I mean, he's hitting 314 with 6 ribbies. Great. But then you have a couple of people, Frankie Mercado. Like, I don't even think that guy even plays anymore. Like, he has been so bad behind the plate or at the plate. I mean, you're getting nothing from hitters 5 through 9, and then even 1 to 4, you're only getting production 2 times. It's unbelievable. The pain that I feel watching this, them play kills me. It kills me, and I want you guys to talk about it because I don't want to go to where I think I might go on a rant for.
I'm gonna let Peter go,
okay?
Because by you getting close to a rant, the rant is coming.
This effing close. This close.
The rant is coming. So Peter, I mean, how many are you able to kind of watch every single night, and are you able to actually keep the TV on the game if you are watching from opening pitch?
Yeah, Jacob and I have been watching. We haven't always caught the opening pitch because, trying to get Joe to bed and, squared away, and it's, not always easy, but it's been rough. I mean, the pitching, has been phenomenal, but I was so excited Thursday when we scored all those runs because I was like, finally, we're not going to win. It's not going to be a close game, It's going to be, we had a blowout. The bats looked like they were waking up, and then we watched the game last night, and it was painful. It was just really painful, and I don't know what's going on with them, but it hurts. It hurts right now to watch. So I'm not as angry as Nick, but I am frustrated. It's very frustrating. I'm sure they're frustrated too, but someone's got to step up and fix whatever the heck's going on.
I hope they're frustrated
because
I'm as angry as Nick is. And I mean, I will say yesterday, sports-wise, was an eye-opener that, yes, I miss sports, but I didn't miss that down in the dirt type feeling, because not only did I watch the baseball game in full yesterday, I started with soccer, so that was great.
So you started off on a good note.
I started off on a good note, at least when I turned it on.
Yeah.
But it was my soccer team's arch rival playing in the game, Manchester City, playing against Real Madrid, who plays in Spain. I'm a Manchester United fan. Manchester versus Manchester, what they call a derby, their version of a rivalry over there.
Yeah.
Real Madrid's defense looked like trash. And our buddy Emmett Golden and I had a conversation on Twitter about that. Absolute trash. So then we moved to, I was actually watching golf yesterday. I figured I'd just turn it on in between.
PGA Championship, right?
PGA Championship, first major of the year. It's one of those bigger events. Yes, Tiger's playing, but I get into some of the younger guys as well. And Rory kind of picked it up a little bit in that group, but for the most part, the top guys, I know Jason Day's kind of in the mix there, and
Brooks
Koepka, he's in the mix. But for the most part, when I was watching those top names that I recognize in the game of golf, absolute trash. So go to the baseball game.
I see a trend.
You're catching on here. Baseball game. Indians offense. After scoring 13 runs, they come back the next night, go back to absolute trash. Go over to hockey. I'm live tweeting the game. Learn not to live tweet hockey because Blue Jackets were up 3-0. Come back 2 minutes later after checking on the Indians game, and it's 3-2, and we see the Toronto Maple Leafs tie up the game with 22 seconds left. Blue Jackets then lose it in overtime. Don't want to say absolute trash, but kind of a trash game.
It's pretty trash.
They had the exact same thing happen to them that they did to Toronto in Game 3. Then I tried to even get some basketball in last night because I love basketball and just try to put it in. Just try to get that get the whole sports element going yesterday.
Sure.
Just try to envelop myself in a day full of sports. And it's the Boston Celtics and the Toronto Raptors. I don't really like either team, but, I can get into the Raptors a little bit more. Kyle Lowry, I kind of like that bulldog mentality that he has. They're down 40 points to the Celtics. Trash game. So a trend. But this Indians offense is the ultimate absolute trash right now.
Yep.
And it pains me to have to say that, but it's the truth. In the first 5 innings, the leadoff man got walked Yes, this guy is throwing 97 to 100 miles an hour, but he's throwing way out of the zone, and the leadoff man walks. In inning number 2, you had the bases loaded with no outs and didn't get a run. You got the leadoff man aboard 4 of the 5 first innings, and I think there was maybe another inning or 2 where they got their leadoff man aboard. And there was 8 or 9 walks plus a hit batter. Not a single run got pushed across the plate.
Yep.
Aaron Savali, who is not going to overpower you, he's going to make his pitches. He's going to, if the catcher's going to...
He's going to do his job.
Right. And I heard Rick Manning say this, and it was perfect. I would love to be the catcher for Aaron Savali, because wherever you put that glove, he's going to hit that spot. It's not going to be the fastest. It's maybe not going to have the most movement, but he's going to hit that spot where the hitter can't get it. And yeah, he struggled in the first inning. And the White Sox hitters, they have a powerful young lineup that is going to be a problem for a long time. And they've been starting to find their groove this season. So you're thinking, oh no, the way this first inning is starting, this could be a really long game, and the way the Indians' offense has been so inconsistent, they may not be able to come back if there's a big spot put up in this first inning. He's able to get out of it with just giving up 1 run, and they got that 1 run because it was a double play ball. It was just a guy on third. I think it was Lindor who picked it up. He's playing too far back. He's going to take the 2 outs, trade the 2 outs for 1, clear out the bases, and let your offense go to work because it's only the first inning. You come back the next top inning and have bases loaded and no outs, and you don't get a single run. People have said that this team they care too much and they're trying too hard. I see guys just walk back to the dugout like it's nothing. I don't know what needs to happen, but somebody needs to get into them. I know that Terry and prayers out to Tito Francona, who's going through some illness.
GI, yep.
But when he's there, he has a great read of his players and how to react to them. And Sandy Alomar is that same kind of person because he was that as a player too.
Sure.
That's why everybody in Cleveland still loves Sandy Alomar from his playing days and love him as a manager, and hoping that he doesn't get.
I think he's going to be a good one.
He's going to be a good one, and everybody keeps hoping he's going to stay as that bench coach because we don't want to lose him.
Right.
So. But somebody has to do something, because we thought that it was just April every year why this offense was slow, because it was cold.
Yeah.
No, it's just an Indians thing. And this year you can't afford to do that. So am I overreacting? No, because there's not as many games and we're already 25% of the season gone. And now you have to compete not only with the Twins, but you're seeing the White Sox able to find those young players getting in their groove. And if they get hot, a 60-game stretch, they can stay hot for that long, or they can stay consistent for that long. You need to find something. I don't need this team to be the best offense. I didn't think they were going to be.
No.
I didn't think they were going to be top 10.
No.
But middle of the pack, average. If you have an average offense with this pitching staff,
yeah. If you average 4 runs a game, which is about average,
yeah,
you will be winning 70% of the time.
Yes.
There is no doubt in my mind. The bullpen and the starting pitching has been that dominant. And the starting pitching especially.
Yeah.
We've only given up 32 runs, so far in 15 games.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. It blows my freaking mind how bad this offense has been. And we were concerned about it. At the first night of the year, we were like, well, we hope, 2, 3, 1 to, or what was 2 to 6 is what we were looking at. 3 to 6.
Yeah.
We were hoping 3 to 6, hey, if they can, hop on, we'll be okay. But whatever, it's one game. Since then, they've played 14 games. And they have looked like trash 13 out of those 14 games.
Yes.
Other than the one blow up on Thursday night, which they scored once again 21% of their runs so far this year in one freaking inning. I don't know what else to say.
Well, I think they also did score 9 runs against the Royals. So they've had, and I heard last night.
I heard 40% of your offense has come in 2 games? 2 games?
2 games.
Sure.
40% of your total offense, all of the runs scored the whole year.
Like 45%. 40 because they scored 3 other runs. I was just counting the 10 runs in the inning and then 9 and so in 2 games you've scored 45% of your offense.
Yes.
And unbelievable.
And it doesn't look like there's any care. Like, to me, it doesn't look like there's any care. The people that see that they care too much and that's why they're pressing, kudos to you for being able to see that, because I see nobody caring or wanting to take this to the next level. And I look at when they show the picture, whether it's Savali last night or Plesac or Bieber or Carrasco or any of those guys, when they show that picture of them just kind of like sitting, kind of have their arm wrapped, they're waiting for their next chance to go out there and put a 0 up on the board, like their face doesn't look motivated. It's like, damn it, I got to go put another 0 on the board.
Yeah.
When a pitcher has to go out there and force themselves to put 0s on the board, that tightens them up, I think.
And you can only do that for so long.
Only do it for so long. And that's why you saw in the Minnesota Twins series those solo home runs being given up. And that is a powerful lineup that when they started against the White Sox, they started their first series with, there was like, it was 9-5 or 10-4. Like, there's multiple runs being scored on both sides, not a lot of pitching. I know that the Twins have some decent pitchers. The White Sox have some decent pitchers. They are nowhere near as good as the Indians, and they're about average. And we made them look like absolute all-stars to Hall of Fame pitchers when they are not.
Yep, 100%. There's nothing else that we can say about that. I mean, there are so many holes on this offense, and it blows my mind. The
Luplo hasn't hit anything.
Nothing. We have backup catchers in right now because Roberto's hurt.
Yeah.
Okay. And they have done nothing. You and I have the same sort of freaking batting average as any of those guys.
And Luplo was pinch hit last night as a .000 hitter. And then you put Luplo right in front of Mercado, who can't see, like, doesn't know anything.
He's hitting 122. 122. Do you know what Frankie's hitting? Let's not just leave it on guys 6 through 9, mind you.
Right.
Like we got to take a hard look at Franmil, at Carlos, and at Frankie.
It's the 3, 4, and 5 hitters
which is exactly what we were worried about.
That drive everyone's offense.
I'm looking at this right here. Okay, so I have Franmil is hitting 220. Carlos hitting 182.
Oh, at least he can walk. At least he walks all the time. He gets on base.
You know what? And I will give his on base percentage is 410.
Yeah,
like, he got walked 4 times the other night. Like, hey, good for you, man. He does have the best eye in baseball.
Yes.
I will give him that.
Yes,
I will give you that, Carlos. But Frankie's hitting 220. If Frankie's hitting 220 with 3 home runs and 9 RBI, which okay, cool. Just get on base, man. Get on base and let's see what we can do with that. Okay. Right now, everyone's swinging for the fences.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing the same freaking crap that we see every April. Every April, we see this. They can't hit anything off the broadside of the barn against a mediocre pitching.
You want to know, and I'll close this conversation out because I feel like this podcast is going to be like, I'm going to sound like Mr. Negativity on this podcast. I'm telling with the stuff we got coming up. We got Browns. We got some other, college and high school sports to talk about too here. But the stat I saw on the broadcast last night that really threw me off. This wasn't just a 4-game stretch or anything like that.
Right.
The Indians are leading not just the American League, but Major League Baseball in most pitches seen at the plate. That blows my mind because I'm watching Frankie go up there and swing at things that hit the ground before it even gets to his bat.
You can thank Carlos for that. Carlos keeps getting walked every single time.
Well, and Delino DeShields just came up, and I think he went 0 for 1 last night, but had 3 walks before he got out that last at bat on his 4th at bat. So I guess it makes sense when you look back and see how many times they've actually walked. And, was it, I don't know his first name, but Cease last night for the White Sox, their starting pitcher.
Yeah.
He was at 100 pitches by into the 5th inning, like not all the way through it. He was at 100 pitches and had to be taken out. So I guess I get it. But if you're leading the majors in seeing the most pitches, that means your offense should at least be middle of the road.
At least.
I don't need to see. Yeah, I would love to go to a ballpark and watch and hear the bat. Or Sports Time Ohio has great microphones, by the way. And the crack of the bat is just amazing to hear. The problem is I'm hearing the crack of the bat for the other team. And it's so frustrating.
And it's not that often. It's not that often that you're hearing that, but it's like double what you're hearing it for the Tribe.
Yes, and that is a problem. And you're to have the best pitching staff in the majors and to be the absolute worst offense in the majors, but seeing the most pitches, and you're not even able to scrape across a run an inning. Every time I see bases loaded, I'm like, oh, here comes our favorite hitting scenario for the Cleveland Indians over the last several years. We don't hit well at bases loaded. Like, load the base. Here's the strategy for other teams in major leagues for their pitching staff. Load the bases, and you'll get the next 3 guys out. Load the bases, no outs or 1 out, and you'll get the rest of the guys out. It sounds like a dumb strategy, and trust me, it is. Not when you're playing against the Cleveland Indians offense, though.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating. And I guess the beauty of baseball is by the time we talk next week, we may see, it could turn around that quickly. Like, that's how quickly it can turn around. But it needs to turn around that quickly in a season like this where you have a pitching staff that could take you far into the playoffs. It's the teams that have pitching in Major League Baseball playoffs that do so well, and their offense doing just enough to win those games. You have that pitching staff to do that. I don't need the best offense. I don't need a top 10 offense in Major League Baseball. I'm just asking for 15 or 16. I'm asking for average. Imagine that. C average.
I'm asking the Cleveland offense for 4 runs a game. You average 4 runs a game, I guarantee you will win 70% of the time, which will definitely get you into the playoffs.
Yep.
And it'll get you a higher seed than most. And obviously, as long as our pitching stays healthy, as long as our pitching stays healthy, we'll be fine in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, literally, it's all about pitching once you hit the playoffs.
Yes.
I mean, we saw it last year. Max Scherzer, was dominant in the playoffs. I mean, that's all you need. That's all you need. You don't need a Bryce Harper's. Once again, we have Frankie Lindor, who has done nothing right now. I'm not going to say trade him right now. I'm not going to go that far because I think it is a slump.
Right.
And that's all it is. Okay. But if we want to pay Lindor, hashtag pay Lindor, he has to produce. I'm not going to give him $400 million to hit 220. Right. And I don't think it's going to end up being 220, at the end of the 60 games, but it better be up there because no one's going to pay you $400 million if you're hitting 250 or below. That's just a fact.
They always say cream rises to the top, and we consider Lindor a top 5 player in Major League Baseball. You see guys like
top
Trout.
5 to 10. Yes, absolutely.
You see guys like Trout and the big names already getting off to good starts. Not like hot starts, but good starts.
Give me mediocre.
Give me mediocre.
Give me 270 with a couple more RBI. And honestly, that would help out everybody. It would help out the morale of the team. Mm-hmm. And like I
want to see them having fun.
You don't see that happening. No. Other than the 13 and the 9, that's all we've seen. Only time that we've had fun.
I went to Hocking Hills this past weekend, and there's this thing when you take the trail to Old Man's Cave at Hocking Hills. There's the Devil's Bathtub that you walk past on the trail. I feel like the Indians walk to the Devil's Bathtub every time they go back to the dugout. That's the look on their face instead of going off to I don't even know what a good place is, like Old Man's Cave. Like it's
going right there, right?
It's fun. Like, or going to the Turtle Shell and under that little I don't know, like something more fun than going into the Devil's Bathtub. Like, didn't look good and it didn't look like I definitely
with a name like Devil's Bathtub. I don't know how great it could be.
Yeah, the water didn't look very. It looked like I might be going to hell.
A little murky, huh?
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna leave the conversation there because I'm just gonna keep going, and I can't do that right now, and we don't even have the time to do that.
Right.
To keep going. We're both wearing our Browns gear today, though, and they started training camp, but COVID-19 2020 version of training camp where the coach has just met his players like within the last week for the first time in person, and they're still not able to get on the field. They're doing some like without pad type drills, weight training, things like that. We hear David Njoku wants to be traded. Now he doesn't. We also hear Austin Hooper is, the best way he can help Baker is get open, run routes, get open and catch the ball.
Right.
He's
not wrong, by the way.
And I guess he spent time with Baker down in Austin, Texas, and so did Coach Stefanski, we found out. And then all the pictures of all them they've been doing their split squad or like kind of socially distancing and taking their photos and doing all like that green screen stuff for the jumbotrons or whatever they call those.
I don't even know why they're doing it.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to have any fans.
They're gonna be talking to themselves. I mean, I know Christian Kirksey's not here, but imagine like hearing like
dog
that dog check.
You're like, oh.
You hear that?
Like, where?
You hear that one?
You hear that? Even matter?
You hear that one random echo outside the stadium, right? Dog check. Is that dog okay? What?
Right.
So they're taking these pictures and everybody's freaking out about seeing them in the new uniforms, and it's the classic look. I'm just hoping we have football.
Yeah,
I'm hoping we have football. I mean, is there a storyline that's really catching your eye right now with football or with the Browns or even the NFL right now?
Yeah, right now, I mean, it's all about, getting everyone there, being socially distant, and just, trying to figure out the playbook. I mean, everyone's gotten the playbook so far, so you understand, like, I mean, I hope everyone's been reading up on it. It's a brand new playbook, especially for Baker, and I mean, just, pretty much every 6 months, it's a new playbook for Baker.
Every 6 months, it's a new playbook for the Cleveland Browns.
Right, it really is. It really is. But I have more faith with this playbook than others. Past, looking at, the Minnesota offense, where Kevin Stefanski was the offense coordinator last year. I mean, they did the double tight end sets. So that does make, Njoku saying, you know what, I want to stay here. Good move.
Yeah.
Good move for him. He probably found out that his value really wasn't as high as what he was hoping for,
right?
Out there, which is, hey, I mean, that's fine. Like, I got no issues with you looking and, promoting yourself and doing what you got to do in order to get paid. We've already talked about that.
Yeah. His value is higher on this team than going elsewhere.
Absolutely. So yeah, I'm totally fine with that. I like having both of them in there because once again, we have the rookie backup, right behind him, and it's going to take a minute for him to develop anyways. So you got Njoku for at least this year. I mean, we already paid him for his 5th year option, I believe. So we should be okay with that as well. But Austin Hooper's the one that jumps out to me because he did come out and he said, I gotta just, run the route, get open, catch ball, and hopefully score some touchdowns, like for Baker. Because Baker has always done really well, especially at college. Whenever he had Mark Andrews and that Oklahoma offense, I mean, that was peak Baker, and then even in, his rookie year in Cleveland, whenever Njoku was healthy, he was catching, I think he caught 4 or 6 touchdowns from him. So, he needs those red zone threats.
Yes.
I am so looking forward to seeing Austin Hooper in a Browns uniform and just streaming right down the middle. Just be that 9 route and just go.
Yeah.
Because I think Baker's going to be able to have him as the blanket that he didn't have last year because Njoku was hurt for 90% of the year last year. So I'm really thankful for that. We obviously, once again, we just saw the pictures of all of the players and everyone's going crazy. I see your look. Everyone, you can all see, Kevin's displeasure because everyone is all freaking out over the uniforms. Mind you, they look crisp. They look really good.
They look good. It's just, I mean, you're getting
hyped up over it again. Like you're not getting hyped up. A lot of people are.
A lot of people are getting hyped up, and they're like, "Oh oh my gosh, where's the OBJ picture? Where's where's
and they
this
just
guy?
released that. And
Yeah.
it looks fly. It looks so damn good.
I know, but everybody else took a picture without their helmet on, and then he's got like the he's got the
visor.
He's got the OBJ.
I mean, he's
look,
got what
I
got
guess.
going on right now. I got a migraine. Everyone, if you're watching this, like I have a migraine right now, so like that's why we're in the studio with these on. So that's where we're at.
I thought you were wearing this today to prove a point because you had someone respond to you on social media saying that you looked like
Fat
Baker.
Yeah, Fat Baker.
They said like 40 that they thought it was Baker growing 40 or gaining 40 pounds.
Yeah.
You said try 100.
Right.
Or something
Yeah.
like
No.
that.
So
I thought you were going with that. As soon as I saw you walk in the door,
I wasn't going for that.
Then you said migraine. I was like, oh, I feel bad now.
Yeah. So just to let everyone know on Twitter, we had the announcement for the Madden cover.
Yeah.
Peyton Hillis is going to join us. Blah blah blah. We did a video for it, and someone Jamie Castle at Jamie Castle 1972 goes, holy blank. At first glance, I thought Baker Mayfield gained 40 pounds again. And that's whenever I shot back at him. I said, try like 100. Thanks for the compliment. Which is, mind you, that is a great compliment. Baker's a good-looking dude. If I'm 40-pound heavier Baker Mayfield, I'll take that all day. But he is way off on the weight. That is for sure.
You know what trend I got into more on social media than like this whole get into and get hyped for the Brown season because you see them standing in a picture and haven't seen them actually succeed in the uniforms yet?
Yeah.
Was when people were putting Baker's face over like Vin Diesel and like his face.
I've seen that. I've seen Thor. I've seen
it matched up like so well. Like I could barely tell a difference. There was a couple where you could see the.
Did you see the Ben Roethlisberger and Taylor Swift?
No, I didn't see that one.
That was pretty scary.
I don't know that I want to.
Terrifying. It was god awful.
I just got over having nightmares, so it took me 29 years. I'm trying. I'm just kidding. I don't need any of those nightmares anymore.
No, absolutely not.
But it's like I guess I don't have like that big a problem with it, and I said I may become Mr. Negative here and call people out. If you're into it and you like seeing those pictures and everything, like more power to you. I'm so steadfast on this whole thing of. Right now, I'm hoping there is a season.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that because they're going to have to travel around and we've seen what's happened in baseball and it hasn't expanded too far. It was with the Marlins and the Marlins are somehow like the best.
7-1.
They're a great team. And they've gone, I saw a tweet from Anthony Castrovince that said like they've gone through like 40 some odd players, 30 some odd pitchers. And there's still, he's like, see, there's still plenty of fish in the sea or something like that. It was funny. But then it's the Cardinals who, the Indians are going to be on ESPN on Sunday night because the Cardinals and I think they're playing the Cubs maybe.
Yeah, got canceled.
Got canceled or postponed or whatever. But they're traveling around the country, and even if it's just centralized to their specific area, there's still that issue. Football is a contact sport, so there's going to be more interaction. And, OBJ talked about how should there even be a season a couple weeks ago, and then he got flack for that. Because it's OBJ saying it.
Of course.
He got flack.
He shouldn't have, because, he made those comments to the Wall Street Journal 3 weeks ago.
Right, and before he saw what the Browns were doing, and Browns are kind of like at the forefront for some of that stuff, and what the NFL and NFL Players Association had put in place. But you understand the cause for concern when you don't know what kind of safety precautions are going to happen. But outside of that, like hoping that there's a season, if there is one, I'm steadfast on this. I need to see it succeed in the field. I'm not jumping off of any sort of train or any sort of fandom for the Cleveland Browns. I'm always going to be a loyal Cleveland Browns fan. But I can't buy into like hyped up pictures or quotes that come out of any press conference. I can't get into that anymore because I feel so numb. I need to see what you're saying. I will have that in the back of my mind. The pictures I see, the comments being made, the motivation, I'll have that in the back of my mind and remember what you said. And if I see that translate to the field, then I can start to think, okay, these guys are really serious about this, and the focus is really on what they say it's on, and not just about making sure that people of Cleveland that are so loyal, and what Peyton Hillis has even talked about, why he loves this city, how loyal and how diehard we are as fans. everybody wants to see the success on the field and the product on the field match how much we put into it. We want to see the players give that much back and actually execute on that.
No, I mean, we've been fooled before.
Yes.
And, whenever we get anything new and shiny, OBJ, perhaps, even Austin Hooper, once again, I'm fangirling over Austin Hooper, getting him, and he's talking about he's been hanging out with Baker.
You're going to draft him in fantasy.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Way too high, too.
I already did a fantasy draft.
Did you really?
Yeah.
How'd it go?
I
haven't touched it yet.
This isn't against the guys that set it up. It was like a listener league.
Okay.
But it's still like guys that I went to college with. It's that the cut FFL who's kind of like connected with and kind of helped them get going, and they've been doing some good things out there.
Yeah.
They had their listener league. I questioned how there was one guy that got 2 spots. They had 2 different Twitter accounts. Okay. So they found that out. They took them out, and then. But then the 2 new Twitter accounts or people that they put in were put into those draft positions. But I think once the draft started, they redid it, but some seemed a little off
shaky,
there,
a
little shaky there. I know the guys, so I didn't want to get too far into it.
Right.
But I didn't realize I didn't actually look at what time the draft was.
Okay.
It was Sunday night as we're driving home from Hocking Hills.
Oh no.
So I'm doing the car and I asked them, can you text me when I'm up? Because I'm not going to stay on there because I get car sick.
Yeah.
I have to be looking
you
around.
Gotta be focused.
I can't be focused on my phone because I get motion sickness.
Right.
So I'm always taking my Dramamine before I go on roller coasters. I hate heights, get motion sickness, but I love roller coasters. Figure that one out.
Right.
So my approach to the draft was not anything against them. Yeah. I don't have that connection with football right now. Like, kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out, thinking, will we have it? Will it be able to continue? Like, I don't want to get too invested unless I see that it can succeed.
Of course.
And the prize is a signed jersey of someone on your team.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool, and I kind of want that, but I also kind of threw the draft. I just
threw the draft.
I threw my own draft.
How?
Well, there's 14.
How and why?
There's 14 teams.
Okay.
There's way too many. There's way too many players, and it just takes forever to get through.
But why would you throw it?
Because I just didn't care. I don't care.
Then why'd you play?
I was so into it when they first put it out.
I'm Herm Edwards on this one right now. You play to win the game.
But see, I always put so much into fantasy, and I'm always towards the bottom of the league. So I figure if I try to throw it, maybe,
okay. So you're doing the opposite effect, sort of thing.
I'm trying to do like the opposite. So as soon as I saw a guy that I thought like could be.
So did you draft a kicker number 1?
No. There's no kickers in this league.
Oh, no kickers. Okay.
No. One of the flex spots can be a quarterback.
See, I hate those leagues. I hate 2 quarterback leagues.
It's a super flex. So it's like you have your
hate it.
So it's like a starting quarterback, and then like you have your flex of like the normal flex, like 2 flex spots.
So there's 2 flex spots. 1 can be a quarterback. Like one's automatically a quarterback.
There might be even 3 flex spots.
Screw that. Nope.
Why would you not take another quarterback? Because that's gonna.
Yeah, I mean, your first 2 picks should be quarterbacks.
Well, you know when I found out that a quarterback could be a flex spot
after the draft,
halfway through the draft,
past the point of all the quarterback.
That sucks. That sucks right there. I didn't
even recognize the quarterbacks that were left on the list by that point.
Yeah.
That's 14-team league too. So like, there's already 14 of the quarterbacks, the 32 quarterbacks gone.
Yeah.
And there's guys taking like multiple, not just 2 quarterbacks. They're like taking
3, possibly. Right.
Because now you're trying to like have like that backup already too.
That's a dumb. I'm sorry, guys. That's a dumb way to do the draft. And maybe it's because I have a life. I don't know. But like I will do drafts that are like the standard. I'll do standard PPR, half point. Even no PPR. Like I'm cool with all of that. But do the standard: 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 flex, 1 defense, and then I personally like having kickers because I love I love the thrill of a kicker, but you'll either end up with 3 points because they'll get 3 touchdowns and you only get those extra points, or you could have 17, which I've had before. And, and like you look at okay, well, it's supposed to be snowing there in New England, but it's they're in the dome in Arizona. Like you automatically know. So like I'm flip-flopping kickers all the time. I love that. But 3 quarterbacks, a 2 quarterback system. I don't like that. I've played in one league like that. I hated it.
So once I realized the rules, I was just like, I can't put that much effort in. Like I'm gonna pick guys like, and I'm not just gonna like pick like all the way at the bottom. Like I'm gonna pick guys that are projected in those rounds.
Right.
But I'm not gonna spend. And they had 3 minutes in between picks too.
That's a lot.
That
like
is a lot. Yeah.
Normally it's like 90 seconds, 60 seconds. Like boom, 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 boom.
For
boom.
14 teams, there's 3 minutes, and then guys are getting upset if one person win a minute. So, like, you should have given it only that amount of time because that's how it should be even less for a 14-team league.
Like I said,
typically you see 10 or 12.
Way too long.
Typically it's 10. Then you go to 12. Like, that's kind of like a bigger league. 14 is just...
That's a big league, and 3 minutes is ridiculous.
So it's 12 listeners,
ridiculous.
and there's 4 of the guys that are hosting this podcast. 2 of them are teaming up on 2 teams, so then that's because they got to be a part of this too. So then they can win their own thing.
And that's okay, cool. Like you're saying 14's too much. I love the bigger leagues because you have to dive.
But now when you got
deep.
3 minutes in between picks.
No. I agree with that.
That's the problem.
That's
with
ridiculous.
This draft.
3 minutes for even for a 10 team. Like that's way too long. I like longer drafts. I've already talked about if I found people that were willing to do it and keep it consistent, I would love to do like a 16 team draft because like I just can't find 16 people that are like in that much in love with like deep diving into rosters and stuff like that.
I got one person for you.
But who's that? Mac.
Mac.
Mac. Yeah, we already knew that one, Mac. But yeah, no, it's so tough to find people whenever you're looking to do those deep drafts and stuff.
I know.
And once again, we have you in our was that the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen League or whatever we have with Tyler,
right?
Mark, something I can never remember the name for it.
I'm less than ordinary, so.
but we brought you in last year and and I think that we're going to be able to keep continuing with that sort of group. I think we had 10 or 12. I think it was 10, right? It was a 10 team.
10, yeah, it was 10.
I would love it to go 12. That's like the perfect amount for me.
Right.
Peter,
you want in?
Yeah, Peter, you want in?
Yeah.
There we go.
I might do that.
We got one more.
We got one more.
We
just gotta find one more. It's like if you can find that consistent group, that it just makes fantasy that much better. If it's just like this random group, and it's a lot of guys, and then you're doing 3 minutes between picks. I don't know. And the one fantasy thing I can't get into, and we'll talk about this more as we get closer to football. Like we'll get fantasy voices back going again and do all that. So we'll have plenty of time to talk fantasy football. The one thing that I really want to talk about when we get to that point that I don't really get into or don't understand is dynasty.
Yeah, some dynasties are cool, but you have to have once again a consistent 10 people in a league.
That doing stuff like all year round too.
I mean, the all year round stuff is ridiculous. I know Mac and our buddy, from OMS. They all have their own.
They're making
dynasty.
Trades
they're making trades in January. Like it's way too long.
Or like March when there's nothing going on, like before even free agency starts.
They do the rookie draft class drafts and stuff like that.
And they did that a month. I know, over a month ago.
I know. That to me is nuts. And I wouldn't want to be in a league like that. Hey, congrats to all of you guys. Like you guys are way more hardcore than me.
Yeah.
But like right now where I'm at right now with my life and everything like that's not for me.
Yeah. I love fantasy football.
Oh, I love it.
But I got a life.
Yeah.
I got a life. I need a life. Getting towards the end of the podcast, we are going to let you guys know, we are going to have an extra video today. So a little tease for that. There was a little addition to the Ohio State, that team up north rivalry this week, a quarrel amongst coaches and a comment from our very own Ryan Day that was made to his players about what they could do to that team up north. So we're going to have a fun little conversation, a quick little video on YouTube. So make sure you are subscribing to @Voice of the Land Podcast on YouTube because we don't just do everything inside the podcast. So you can't just see everything inside the one clip. You may have to go over there or even just listen to it on the podcast platforms. You won't get that clip on there. So go ahead and tune in to our YouTube channel. As we wrap things up, I did want to touch on this because, Peter with NEO Sports Network, and I know that you've been kind of talking, you've been getting offers, or at least before all this hit, there was talk of, expanding how you guys cover high school football and high school sports, and doing a great job of that here in Northeast Ohio. And we've got a lot of great football and sports overall.
It's the cradle of football.
It is.
It really is.
It is. I mean, yeah, you got Texas, and they have like D3 college level stadiums at their high schools. All well and good. If you got the money, that's great. We'd have stadiums like that here too, a little bit more money, but
I mean, you're looking at Florida, Texas, probably Georgia, Bama, California, and Ohio. Those are like the best, states with football out there by far.
And I'd put our crop of talent up against any one of those states any
absolutely
day in football. So the Ohio High School Athletic Association yesterday came out with their plan for the high school football season. Their new plan, to drop it to 6 games, and then everyone makes the playoffs. If a school were to, deny their right to be in the playoffs, they're allowed to schedule 4 other regular season games against other teams that have kind of backed out, so you can play a maximum of 10 games. Mm-hmm. So let alone the fact that every team makes the playoffs, like it's, football is that one sport where you have to earn your spot in the playoffs. Right. A lot of the other ones, you have the sectional tournament, so everybody makes the playoffs in soccer and everything like that. That's one issue.
Yeah.
There's 3 issues here that I kind of want you guys to quickly touch on. I know we're running out of time, but I'll spread this around. So it's the 6 games, everyone makes the playoffs. Number 2, the fact that the Ohio High School Athletic Association is putting plans out there, but then the governor's supposed to talk next week, and the health departments in each county, and Cuyahoga County, Summit County, like Cuyahoga County doesn't want any sports at all, at least not until next year. Summit County saying at least till October 1st. You got the Ohio Department of Health saying things as well, putting recommendations out there. Governor hasn't made a decision. No one wants to be the bad guy.
Right.
So that's another issue. Everybody on a different page in the state. And 3, love high school football. Love that. I've worked with bands and things like that too, and I love to go to high school football games because it's just pure sport at that point for the love of football. But what about the other sports? Like I know football is the main drive, but come out with your football plan. But I never see anything come out about what's going to happen with soccer for boys and girls because that's a contact sport.
Sure.
What are you going to do with volleyball because those are played in gyms? Are parents going to be allowed to go? Are you going to split them up? Or what's going to happen there? Golf has already started. Cross country, you should be able to go, but it's just the big issue is when everybody starts because they're all clumped together.
Right.
But what is the actual plan? Just when you saw this, I mean, what was your reaction?
For me, we'll start off with the football. The 6 games, possible playoffs, or the other 4 games. I don't like participation trophies. I was not raised that way. I remember receiving one whenever I was in high school. I think I was a sophomore in high school, and they said, "Hey, congrats on your development," or something like that. I was like, I ripped that. It was a piece of paper.
Right.
Like I'm gonna frame that. I ripped that thing up, and it made me even more motivated. I went out there and did really well the following year. Mm-hmm. And became my senior year became a team captain and defensive MVP and stuff like that. So it motivated me to do that. But I don't like participation trophies. That being said, my team my senior year went 0-10, and to get the opportunity to go to the playoffs would have been pretty cool. We would have gotten blown out like we always did. But it's one of those things where it's like, I understand if you were a senior, junior or senior, because it screwed up your year last year, the end of the year, and then it's screwing up the beginning of this year for you, as a student athlete at that point in time. And they are student athletes.
Yes.
Not like college players where they're athletes and then they can be students.
Yes.
Because we just know how that works. But as a student athlete, I feel terrible for those kids. But you are looking at it from at least you're getting 6 games. If from the football standpoint, at least you're getting 6 games. Hopefully, we'll see how that all goes.
And then at least 7 if you're going to the playoffs.
I don't like the fact that because you could be 0-6 and make the playoffs.
Right.
That's stupid.
Yes.
That is straight up dumb.
Yes.
But at least they're getting a couple games out there. At least they're getting film for people. Because if you go 3-3, that's not great. But at least you got film, and maybe that D2 school see a diamond in the rough, and you can go there, whatever. So I understand that. I am happy about that. To jump ahead to the other sports that aren't doing it, soccer, volleyball, I think you said cross country. I mean, those, I wish that we would know more about that.
Yeah.
But the moneymaker is football.
Right.
But this is the thing. You're not making any money through football this year because no one's going to be able to come and see it. So it's not like you're losing the revenue everywhere. So you might as well have the kids go out there and just play. That's my thought of it. I mean, you're going to take a loss on that. But it doesn't feel right to be like, okay, football can play, but screw those other sports, screw the other six sports
they did come out and say that they're encouraging the schools to find television stations to pay for the rights to do the games. And here's the problem: is unless it's a D1 school, where you're going to have sponsors already lined up, to do that. You're not going to find enough production companies out there to do the games. I mean, I do it, and it's really difficult to get sponsors to do some of these games. I mean, last year we did Bedford, and Bedford has a beautiful facility. I mean, it rivals some probably D2, colleges.
That press box.
And but I was talking to one of the guys there, and they said when they were looking for sponsors for that, they sent out 300 letters to companies around for sponsors.
How many hit
they
back
got?
Up?
They got 5 responses. 5 responses, 4 of which were no.
Yeah, that's and that was going to be my third and final point. Was I wanted to shoot it over to you, Peter, because with all of the possibility of watching the football games, or if they're able to do the other sports as well, is that something that will be able to benefit NEO Sports?
Well, I mean, possibly. I mean, I've been talking for the last couple of years really with like the CVC, because they've been wanting to do something like a CVC TV. They just went through an expansion.
Okay.
They actually hired a marketing company to get sponsors, to look for sponsors. And, we've had some discussions there. So there may be some opportunities. But, I mean, there's a potential that you could do pay-per-view. If people want to watch it, they have to pay. Because right now, all those boosters, and you're right, football seems to be the big thing because it's just a huge draw. I mean, it's really the biggest draw. The boosters make a ton of money for concession sales, gate sales, and all that's probably going to be gone because they're not going to have fans. Now, the interesting thing is someone had mentioned that, with this, are the bands going to perform at halftime? Is that going to be...
What's the point?
Well, here's the thing. You can't even... Well, technically, you can't even stream that because it's all copyrighted music. So that's one of the main reasons that you won't see high school... Like, if you see a high school sporting event being streamed, they won't do a halftime show because of the copyright infringements on that, because it's that video will get flagged, and
they may show like one song, but they don't show the whole thing.
Maybe
even that. I mean,
Spectrum has been showing that though.
But the thing is, Spectrum and the television stations have blanket licenses through like the ASCAP and BMI to cover that.
Right.
So they can do that, but most smaller streaming or schools, even if the schools are streaming it themselves, you stream that on YouTube, man, you're gonna get flagged, and enough flags and you lose your YouTube account. So there are some there's some possibilities there for us, but we'll see. I mean, and with 6, I mean, that's like you said, what's the plan? Who knows? There's like 10 different plans, it seems like. So let's see what the governor says, because he may go along with the the High School Athletic Association, or he may totally throw a monkey wrench in it. We'll see.
We need someone to step up and put an answer out there.
Yeah.
And we need it to be as great as the governor was in the beginning, and Dr. Amy Acton, and kind of being at the forefront for doing the shutdown that was necessary at that time. And there's been other things that maybe you disagree with, and anybody that was happy that our governor tested positive for, even though it
100%,
ended up being a false positive. Yeah. Anybody excited about that, or anybody trying to use then the false positive as part of their narrative and trying to make this whole thing political? This is health, people. This is about health. So let's get that out there. And I understand that a very small percentage of the people that get COVID-19 are young people. But if you look at the actual total numbers, you're looking at thousands of kids that have gotten this virus, and even if they're not symptomatic, if they're asymptomatic, they may have someone like, I have my 94-year-old grandfather at home. I have a severely asthmatic mother who I am trying my hardest, more so than protecting myself. I'm trying to protect them.
Yeah.
Because I love them so much. And yes, I'm older. I'm 29, so I respect what they did to bring me up. So like I'm trying to give back to that now. And you're a teenager, you have those back and forths with your parents and things like that. We all go through that. But if one of these kids were to get it, or they do have it and they're asymptomatic, and then they're playing football or they're playing a sport and they pass it off to another kid who then goes home with family members that are at high risk, and they get it and then they start to show symptoms, that is where this all goes bad. And I don't want to take opportunities away from these kids. And I'm going to look right at this camera right now, because you guys know how important youth sports and youth education is to me. And I'm trying to get back into coaching soccer, and I love every single family that I've gotten to work with, and the amount of work that the student athletes put in for teams, and when they play for me, or I just see them out there, and I go back to see the Wycliffe High School soccer team play, because I can't let it go, and I want to be able to go see them. And I don't want these seniors, just like the seniors of the past that I student taught, lose their spring season. I don't want to see these girls or guys or lose their senior season of football or anything like that, and opportunities to get scholarships because they may not be able to afford college. I don't want to see that.
Right.
I don't. But I also know in my heart, I don't want to see these kids or their families suffer from this illness either. So I am asking the state of Ohio, or even the country of the United States of America, please, someone step up and come up with a plan. And if it has to be state by state, next week I want to hear Governor Mike DeWine say something with a plan, even if it's to follow the Ohio High School Athletic Association. These kids need to know. They need to be able to plan for what's moving forward, and we need to be able to protect them, but also give them their opportunities, because we know how impactful sports can be and how depressed or stressed these kids are not having those outlets of where they can express themselves accurately and interact with others. Yeah, you'd love to see kids in school interacting with other people and getting those social skills or being on the sports field. Just someone, don't care about being the bad guy or the good guy, good girl or the bad girl. Care about coming up with a plan that everyone's going to follow and getting on the same page so that we can get answers and we can figure out how to best support the youth of this country that will be our leaders in the next few years. I know that we went a little bit over, but yeah. I need people to hear that, heard. Because I don't want to see these kids lose their seasons, but I also don't want to see them lose their life, or any of their family members lose their life.
Sure.
It's just a tough balance. It's not an easy decision to make. I wish I had the answers to step up and say, this is what we're going to do. Come together, talk, come up with one plan, and someone go out there and tell us what that plan is. And hopefully we can have a good year and a good school year moving forward for every single kid out there, and they can still get those opportunities they need while staying safe and keeping their families safe.
Well said.
I'm almost tearing up, but I mean, that's how much I see these kids and the kids I've coached in the past, and knowing that they may lose their season and how much that hurts my heart.
Of course.
But knowing if they do, that it's for the betterment of health. And so we don't have to keep going, trying something and having to go back to shutting down, staying on a consistent progression path to get over this as a country and as a people.
Yeah, if we have to shut down sports in order to get this fixed, I'm all for that. But just to shut it down to stall,
right?
That's not right. That just isn't. Someone needs to come up with a plan and follow through with it. 100% with you.
Yeah. So And I pray that especially the seniors and all the athletes out there, or student athletes out there, and even just people, even if you love the arts, you love being a part of the band, you love being a part of choir or your art class and getting to express yourself some way. I hope those opportunities are afforded to you in the best way possible this year that keeps you and your family safe and keeps you moving forward as well. And all those families that I've worked with coaching wise, I just want to let you know, I love you all. And I'm thinking about you guys always. We're praying for all of you and all the families I haven't had an opportunity to work with. And you have student athletes out there or students that are passionate about something. Thoughts and prayers are with you as well for everybody around this country and around this world right now from us here at Voice of the Land. On that note, I know it's a little bit of a downer or a sad note there, but a lot of good conversation today, guys, and really appreciate this. Remember, we're going to be stepping aside here. This is the end of the podcast. We got that extra clip. Follow us at VTL_pod on Twitter and Instagram. Reach out to us. Have these conversations. What do you think about everything that's been going on? Indians, Browns, high school sports, what needs to really happen? Where do you see this all going? Let us know. We'll have those conversations with you. For Peter Tellep and Nick Paulus, though, I am Kevin Arnold, letting all of you know out there, all you sports fans, don't let anyone ever tell you it's just a game. And in these COVID-19 and trying times as a country and as a world, we truly love you all. 3,000. Thank you so much, and we will see you next week.